All right, let's talk about a slab. So house stands up on a slab. This is what it looks like before they do anything. You take a blank piece of land, you bring in fill dirt, you level it off, you compact it, you make a nice flat base for yourself. Once it's been compacted over time, depending if you have to water it in or not, then you can start building from there. The next thing that would happen is they would bring out some wood material, set forms, the exterior of the slab, and then they'd start digging the trenches, setting up the poly, making sure the plumbing and any electrical coming through the slab is in place, and then getting the post-tension cable set. Here's what a finished slab is going to look like. So this one has the form boards that have been removed. You can see the cement is cured, and they're basically ready to start building here. What you're seeing out the side here, and you'll see along the back, those are the post-tension cables. These cables run throughout the slab. They run on top of the pads, they run in the valleys, the trenches, the beams of the slab, and they are tension. They use pneumatic machine, and the best way to describe it is, imagine the cable's 20 feet long, they stretch it to like 25 feet. They put that much pressure and pulling on it to give it the tensile strength. That way the whole slab basically moves together, all right? It's what we use in our area. It's not the only way to build a slab. It is less expensive. Yes, that's probably why builders use it, but it is quick and it does help, especially with the type of expansive soils we have in the Houston area. So some of the other components you'll see on this slab is the metal sticking out of it. This particular builder, along with every other one, is going to use these sill pieces that's in the slab. It's poured, it cures in there. When they put the sill plate down for the bottom of the wall, they're then going to bend that over and nail into each one of those 8 holes to tie the frame to the slab. Other components are these. So these are provided by a company called Simpson Strong Ties, and I like to call them the clips and straps of a home. This metal is code required in most areas in Houston. You get closer to the coast, you'll have way more requirements for metal, but these will be bent up and then will be affixed to the frame, and you'll see them at crucial points, generally at corners. The frame will also get secured down to the slab by drilling and putting bolts, again provided probably by Simpson. These bolts can be anywhere from 6, 8, 12, 18, 24 inches. They drill through the base plate, they drill into the slab, they hammer that in, and then they tighten it down. That way, again, it makes it all one. They're taking slab to frame to roof, making it all connected. We're going to cover how the slab gets formed up in another section. Now I'm on the slab. I want to show a couple of the components so you can see where plumbing's coming through. This is mostly going to be drains. You also will see electrical, this blue conduit with that metal rod right there. There's probably electricity going to the island. That is going to run to an exterior wall somewhere, and they'll feed the electricity through the framing wall, and it'll be routed to that island. You see the recess areas. You got garages, the car stop. You can see how it's lower. You can see this area here. This is the shower bucket for the primary bathroom, has a sunken shower. You can see the tub bucket next to it. That's where their tub drain will be. You can see again toilets and again the vent stacking to vent the sewer off-gassing. You can see recessed areas in the back here as well. This is also like a rear covered patio. And then you have like an internal courtyard patio kind of off the side here, which was probably off of the primary bedroom in this plan. So this home also is sitting with 4-car garage. You can see a 16-foot section here, door. You can see an 8 there, so that's 3. And then there's a 4th there with a side entry. So as the driveway comes up, you'll have 2 doors facing the street and 1 that'll be facing to the side. So now we're going to cover some of the things that go into this beforehand. So to continue with slabs, I'm standing in the middle of one. You can see form boards have been set, and what they've done next is the plumbing. These are the next steps. So they have set the forms, the outside of the slab. They've leveled it. They made sure it's at the height they need it to be. They haven't done the internal drop downs yet. That comes later. What they've done though then is dug for plumbing. And you'll notice basically they dig one big trench right from the front. There's your main sewer line that's going to take everything out. Your main water supply line also runs from the front where the meter is, and it takes it to the side of the house, and then it'll be tied into the home. All of the things you see sticking out here have to do with plumbing, its drainage and venting. You will also see a blue conduit. That blue conduit is where they will run electrical wiring through an interior wall of the home. That way it'll get to an island area, likely in the kitchen. This is all that goes in before they come back, do inspections, fill it back in, compact it before they move to the next stage of the slab, which is digging out for the piers and beams and setting the metal along with the post-tension cables. So here's where a slab goes next. So after plumbing's been put in, you can see where the plumbing's protruding through, but you can now see where they've dug the trenches, they've set each pad, they've wrapped it in poly. You can see that the post-tension cables have been set. You can see the plastic cat eye things that are keeping the cables up off the pads. That way concrete will get up and under. Concrete will go into each one of these channels around the pads. And then you can start seeing, as you get into these channels, you can see where the cables are running. You can see the additional structural rebar and metal, the angle iron we discussed that was piled up on the other lot. You can also start seeing where the Simpson strong tie material is being temporarily nailed in place with the form material. You can see where the sill material still hasn't been installed yet, but they get set when they're pouring the concrete. You can see all the forms are set, and then you can see how the internal forms have been set. So you can see where the garage will be poured and how it steps down. You can see the porch that is stepped down. You can see where the tub bucket is and where the shower pan is and where it will be set. You can also see this poly material goes up and down. You can see the red tape that's taping separate pieces together. They're trying to get a good vapor barrier there. Cement, it's a hot process. There's a curing process if it's too hot outside. Matter of fact, they won't pour a slab here in our area unless it's 45 degrees and rising. The cooler it is, the longer it'll take it to cure. But in the dead of summer of 100-degree heat days, they're out here with sprinkler systems watering these slabs and making sure that the curing process takes the time it needs, because if it dries too fast, it might not be as structurally sound or rigid as they want. Some of the other things you'll see are portions of the slab material. Again, the forms have been done, but you see how they get capped up. That's where your brick ledge will be. And then the concrete then steps up again in other sections of the form. Again, you can see the structural metal. You can see the grounding rod is a great thing you can see now, because with the electrical component, you can see where that metal rebar is sticking up out of the edge of the slab material here, and you can see how it curves down and it runs all the way to here. So that grounding rod terminates right here about 4 feet from the edge of the garage, runs all the way, does a 90 and goes up, and it sticks out of the slab about 2 feet. So that is definitely at least a 20-foot piece of rebar, 15 to 20 feet. So that's a pretty long rod. And then the one that'll get added on the outside of the slab to secure is nailed down several feet as well. I can't remember what the requirement was for that rod. So this is the final stage of slab before probably an inspection, before they're going to move forward with a pour of the concrete. So these pink strings are being used to make sure they're staying plumb and level and they're going across. Lasers are generally used as well, but they'll use the string lines until the day of, just to make sure as they're setting these materials.